Okay, I welcome us to today's class, to this new stage. In this stage, our major focus will be to learn JavaScript. But before we move into JavaScript, let's have a quick recap of the first stage, what of those things we learned in the first stage. Then, maybe if time permits us today, we can start JavaScript. If not, we do JavaScript in our next class. But it's very important that we revise our first stage. Can we see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay.
Yes.
So in the first stage, we did HTML tags. We started with HTML. We looked at some of the tags. We looked at the strong. We looked at the header tags. That's H1 to H6. We looked at HTML tags together. From there, we moved to Git, and I explained to us that you are going to use Git to manage your application, to manage your project. It's a content management system. So, it's a version control system. It's a version control system. You can use it to manage your application, different versions of your application. Then, after that, we move to CSS. So let's do some things in CSS in today's class and bootstrap. I think that was the last part of the session. So let's start. I will dwell more on the responsive web design. Then I will talk about bootstrap. Then we'll round off everything. So let's talk about responsive web design. Responsive web design. Responsive web design is when your application or your web page can. Responsive web design is when your web page can react to or can adjust itself to the width of your device, such that when it's on a small device, it will display itself perfectly or very well. Also, when it gets to big device, it will also display itself very well. So, let's assume I have a div, and inside this div, I have 3 divs. Okay, let's just instead of calling this a div, let's say I have an article. This is a tag. Inside this article, I have 3 divs. So this is the first div, this is the second div, and this is the third div. So let's say I have these 3 divs that we are working with inside the article tag. I'll style these divs now. So I will create my CSS page. I will call that the index.css. So let's style the div. I'll say my div. I want the width of all the divs. I want the width of everything to be maybe 200 pixels. Then I want the background color of everything maybe to be red. So then I want the height of everything to be, let's make it a square, 200 pixels. So we have this. So all the divs on the page, we have this style. Then let's link the 2 pages together. Then href, I will link it with index.css. So let's run it on the browser. Okay, so these 3 divs are like this. Next, I want to change this display. I want to change this article. I want to style this article and change it. I'll come here and say article. Then I'll say display flex. So I'll say flex direction. Then direction. Yeah. So we have these 3 divs. Let's put a little margin between the divs so that there can be space instead of this everything being joined together. let's put a space. You can just say let each div have a margin maybe 10 pixel, a little like this. Okay, so we have these three divs. Let's quickly revise. Let's talk about what we've done so far. We have an article. Inside this article, we have three divs inside it, and we start this div. Of course, you know that what we have there is div, meaning that it's going to affect all the divs on our page. So each of the div, we ask it to have a width of 300 pixel, each of them to have a background color of red, each of them to have height of 200 pixels, so that's going to be like a square. Then margin of 10 pixel, so as to separate the divs together, else they'll be joined together. So let's say we have this. Let's add one more div so that it becomes 4 divs instead. Let's just create one more. So we have these 4 divs. Now the here we have I've done this on the mobile phone. Let's bring it on the mobile phone. On the mobile phone, this doesn't look cool. On the mobile phone, doesn't look cool. Maybe we want something. When you get to mobile phone, we don't want them to be beside each other. Instead, we want them to be underneath one another. On the desktop, we are cool with having them side by side, but on the mobile phone, you just feel that maybe the content is going to shrink. You feel it will shrink and it may not be well placed on a mobile phone. Please, are we together?
Yes,
Okay.
we have.
Okay. So that's
Yes,
where,
sir.
okay.
Yes.
That's where responsive web design comes in. When you feel okay, you want this thing to behave certain way on a device, then another device you want it to behave in another way, then another device you want to behave on another way, so that when it checks the width of the device width, it will react accordingly. Mr. Blessing has explained this enough. This is just a revision class. So let's continue. Now I will come here and I create a new page for phone. I will call this phone.css. So with this phone.css, what I want to do is this. Whatever I want to change on a mobile phone, I'll put it inside this phone.css. Whatever I want to change on a mobile phone. That is, when you realize that you're on a mobile phone, then do this. So what do we do? Number one, you write the media at media. Then whatever you now want to write will be inside this place. Here you have at media. At media here means that you want to put some specification here. This is called media query. This allows you to write some commands on some certain device. Let's start with this. Maybe I can style it and say, okay, when the minimum width, if the what we have min width, we have max width. When you are saying minimum width, meaning that whatever you put inside this place should apply to it if the minimum width is whatever value you put here. Let's say 768 pixel. Like this thing, whatever you put here should apply to it once the minimum width, meaning that from 68 pixel and above, it will be affected by whatever code you put here. That's not what we want. Now you might ask the question, how did you come across this 768? Why can't I just use just any value like 500 pixel or anything? I'll talk about that still in today's class. But why can't I just use any value? Why am I using this specific value 768 or 769? You will see values like this, maybe 768 or 769. Now I'll come back to that. But then what this means is once the minimum width is up to this, that is 769 and above, then apply this styling, whatever you have there, apply it to it. And that's not what we want. Remember, what we are trying to do is this. We want it to be applied to phone. We want to, whatever we have here, we want it to reflect on phone, meaning that we want it to be on smaller device, not on big device. You know, this minimum width says that from this 769 pixel and above, but that's not what we want. We can change it to maximum width. That means that apply this to it as long as the maximum width does not exceed this 769. The other time it was minimum, meaning apply this as long as the minimum width is not slower than this. But this time around, you are changing it to maximum width, meaning apply this styling, whatever you like here, as long as the maximum width does not does not exceed this 769 pixel. Are we still together?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
let's style it. Now, not what we want
Yes.
to do. Okay. Let's note what we want to do so that you understand it better. On phone, we want this thing, instead of them to lie side by side, we want them to be underneath one another instead of them standing side by side. So what we are going to do is this. We'll now come here and say what we are trying to do is we want to change this display flex. Instead of row, we want to change it to column. You know, column is going to align them beneath one another, while row we place them side by side. So we just come here and say article, then just change. We can just copy this if you want to. So come here. It's still display flex. We are not changing the display. It's still display flex. But what we are doing is we are changing the flex direction from columns to from row to columns. Row to change it to column. So when it gets to a small device, the display will change from row instantly to column. In fact, since this is still flex, in fact there is no point even adding this. So not what you're trying to do. Naturally, the whatever style you had here, we put here, will be applied on all devices irrespective of the width. But whatever you had here will only be applied when the maximum width of the screen of the device is 769 pixel. So, and it's going to change the display the flex direction from row to column. Do we get what you are doing?
Yes, sir.
But we are not changing other things. We don't want to change the width. We still want to retain other things. This is the only thing we just want to change. We want them to be underneath one another. So I'll come here. Next is I need to link them together. I want to link my HTML page with this front.css. I'll be placing it after this. And the reason is because if I place, okay, let me first link them together, then I'll tell us why I'm placing it after this. Now, what we are doing is this. For, CSS or HTML, this goes from the top to the bottom. Your code will be executed from the top to the bottom. So what happens here is this. This is the top. This one at the top, meaning that if you first apply the styling in this index.css, everything here is you first apply it to the page. Then when it now gets to this place and it sees another URL and it sees phone.css, it now go there and change these parts. Do we get it? Once it's on a smaller device, it just change this part alone. So next is let's run it and see the result of the browser. So this is fine, but let's now go to mobile. Let's reduce it. Sorry. Now this sorry. Let me move it. I want to move this page. I want to drag it. I'm having any use dragging the page. So now notice that these things are now stacked on top one another instead of them standing side by side. So this is what responsive web design is about. What you are trying to do is this: you want a situation whereby maybe when it gets to a device, or a smaller device or a bigger device, whichever one, you want to apply some styling. You want it to change. You want to change some things. When you get to big device, this is how you want it to be displayed. And when you get to small device, this is how you want it to be displayed. So what you are doing here is this: we are saying that when the width of the device is, where is it? Fun. When the width of the device is lesser than this 769 pixel, then help us to apply this styling. The styling is just change the flex direction to column so that they will be underneath one another. If I remove this single line from it and run it, you will see that they will be seated side by side. They will be beside one another. But if I bring this back again, this time around, they will be underneath. So as long as the width of the device is lesser than 769, they will be displayed like this. Do you have any question?
No question.
Excuse me, please.
Yes, sir.
Is this the reason why the interface on a laptop, like you are opening an application on your phone and you are opening it on the laptop, most times it's always different. I mean, the interface you see, it's kind of different all the time. Is this what is happening out there?
Yes, but this time around for web pages, this is the reason why we have different display on websites. When you check it on the phone, the display will be different from that of laptop. This is the reason.
Mm. Okay.
Then we can also do something else. We can say, let's create another page for tablets. So maybe you still want to change the display on the tab. So you know, a tablet is like it's like a device between the phone and a laptop. It's like between that part. So let's say on a tablet, maybe you want to make some little adjustments. So let's do that together. I'll come here and say at media, then you can say minimum width. Like a tablet is between a phone and a laptop. So you can ask the, like I said, let me quickly address this, where this 769 pixel is coming from so that we understand it. Now we have what we call breakpoints, and I will use that of bootstrap so that you understand it easily. I'll just say, let me just go bootstrap. You understand why we are using that value now? So bootstrap uses some values that you can just also use for our own work. Okay, I think I saw the values. It's coming. Okay, yeah, persistent. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's look at this values here. For phones are usually, not all phones anyway, but the values here are like general values. It doesn't mean everything, but most things fall in this category. Phones are usually less than 768 pixel, like 768 downwards. That's usually the width of a lot of phones, or most phones. Tablets are usually more than 768, but lesser than 992, something like that. Tablets are usually more than 768. Then don't worry, we are coming when we get to bootstrap. Like when I'm revising bootstrap, I will explain some of this. I'm even sure Mr. Blessing must have also explained these things to us. But then understand this. That's why I use this value here, 769. Like you can change to 768. It's fine. But understand the fact that what you are just doing here is, most phones are usually lesser than 768. So for tablets, you can make it more than 768, lesser than 992. Also, small laptops, screens equal to or greater than 992. That's for small laptops. Small laptops actually have their screen greater than or equal to 992. Then for big laptops or for most laptops and desktops, their screen are usually equal to or greater than 1200 pixels. So if you are targeting tablets, you are going to say let the screen be more than this, but be more than 768, but lesser than 992. I hope you understand. You know, phones are lesser than 768. That's what the code here does. The maximum width here is 768. This meaning that we are targeting phones, because according to what we have here, we know that for phones, screen lesser than 768. Do we understand that part?
Yes.
Okay. For phones, screen lesser than
Yes.
768. And that's what you are saying here also. That apply this, just check and ensure that the maximum width is 768. That is 768 downward. We are targeting phones. But when you are targeting tablets, you check and ensure that the screen, you know, this tablet, equal to or greater than 768, meaning that tablets we have screen between this 768 like to 992. This 992, you know, small laptops are equal to or greater than 992. So tablet is like between laptops and phones. So we want to now write a command that, okay, help us to check and say that, okay, the maximum width should be this, and let's set the minimum width, and minimum width should be 992 pixel. So what you are just doing here is we are setting a limit. Ensure that the maximum width is this. We are targeting tablet. Oh, this is inside phone. Sorry, I'll just I just got and bring it. Let's go to tablets. We'll say minimum width 7.
Is it mistake there?
Okay. Oh, minimum. Sorry.
Minimum is
768.
769.
Sorry. 768 pixel. And maximum width. Max width. Maximum width 992 pixel. So we are just saying that when you get to ensure that whatever command we put inside this place, check the screen. The screen, the minimum width of the screen must be this, and the maximum width of this, meaning it should be between this range. Is this like we are giving it a range? Ensure that it's within this range. So let me quickly add someone. Someone is about to join. So you are welcome, sir. Next, let's discuss what we want to do on tablets. What do we really want to do on tablets? So on tablets, maybe I want to, maybe we can just, maybe I want to reduce the width a bit. Maybe just, you know, we are just trying to play with these things. Maybe I just want to reduce the width a bit, or I want two. Okay, good. Maybe on tablet I want 2 on a row. Instead of the 4 of them being like this, I want them to be 2 on a row or something. Oh, I think this is even better. We want to remove one out of them. On tablets, we want to remove this last one. Yeah, just remove the last one on tablets. So we can come here and say, let's give the last one an ID so that we can target it. ID, you can call it last div. So I'll now go to tablets. I'll say hash last div. I just style it very well. Don't let us be in a hurry. I think this is fine now. So div is this hash last div. Then we want to say display none. So when you get to a tablet, remove this. Remove it from tablets. So let's link them together also and say how that works. So we come here, link, then template dot CSS. So let's run it in the browser. What's going on? Let's go to the phone. Oh, this value is too much. I think I mistakenly wrote 8 there. So let's refresh this back. Okay, this is fine now on desktop. I will start reducing the size. Let me enlarge it back. So let's see what's happening. I will start reducing the size gradually and you will see what happens. Once it gets to the tablets, one of them will disappear. Once it gets to tablets, what's going on? One of them did not disappear until let's go back to our code and see what she did wrong. Minimum width, maximum width. Oh, this. Go back to the right. Yes. Aha, good. So here, this is tablet size. We are currently on tablets here. When we get to phone, one of them it will be stacked underneath one another like this. On tablets, one of them will disappear. Then on laptop or on bigger device now, the 4 of them will be back. Yeah, this. So this size here now, the size here. Look at this midpoint. Good. Around this part. This is where this size. This is where this size is 992. So once it exceeds 992, it uses this index.css. But once it's within this range, it's going to use this. Then once it's lesser than this range, then it will use this phone.css. So depending on what you want to do, you can just play with this thing. Do you have any question?
None from my hand for now.
Okay. So lastly, let's revise Bootstrap also before we go. Bootstrap is a CSS library, as Mr. Blessing have explained to us. It's a CSS library and it has a lot of built-in commands to make your work so easy. And beautifully or interestingly, you don't even need to think about responsive web design when you are using Bootstrap because it has actually been made for you. You don't need to start writing all of these things in Bootstrap, like all of this. These things have been made available for you. So let's see how it works. Mr. Blessing explained to us that it's either you download the Bootstrap or you use the CDN. So let me, today's class is just a revision class. So I can just get a Bootstrap CDN and say Bootstrap CDN. Bootstrap CDN. Okay, I think this is Bootstrap for CDN. So I'll just copy this and put it in my code. I also like it so that other people can find it useful. Okay. So for now, I'll remove all of these things that we used with CSS. And paste this here. So we are using the CDN in our codes. Next, Bootstrap does something. Let's talk about the Bootstrap grid system. Bootstrap assumes that the screen of your page is divided into 12 sections. That's the assumption. When you're writing Bootstrap, number one, first assume that irrespective of the page you have, the screen of that page is divided into 12 columns. I come again. Bootstrap assumes that irrespective of the page you have, the screen of the page is divided into 12 columns. So with that in mind, you understand grid system now. If every page is divided into 12 columns, then you can now say, this item, I want you to take 2 out of the 12 columns. This item, I want you to take 3 out of the 12 columns. This, I want you to take 5 out of the 12 columns. Again, each screen device is divided into 12 columns. You can now say this, take maybe 4 out of the 12, you take 3 out of the 12, and all of that. So I'll do something. I'll go to div. I'll say class. I can set a class. Remember what you are doing here. Everything this row, it has been defined in Bootstrap. You don't need. Now you might ask me, where is this row coming from? That is embedded in Bootstrap. What row means is that you are telling Bootstrap that, see, whatever is inside this div or this container is a row. So, and you know that each row is divided into 12 columns. I can come here again and create another div and say class row. So that means this is a row and this is another row, meaning that they will be placed underneath each other since they are two rows. But each row is divided into 12 columns. Do we get the explanation?
Yes, we do.
Is it confusing to anybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. So each row,
Not
this row
confusing.
is divided into 12 columns. I can now say, inside this row, I want to do something. Maybe this p tag. I can say, let's put some text there. Let's just put some text there. Okay, yeah, I'll just put some text there. So this is one. Let's put another one. P. Then lastly, oh sorry, another P. So you will agree with me that we have just 3 items inside this row, right? Have it now. Do you get it? We have 3 items inside this row. Abi?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So each of them is P. It's not a must to use P. It can be any item. It can even be the combination of items. It can be div and all of that. I'm looking at what we bestly, what we in the, we explain this very well. Okay, good. Let me change it to a div. Then I can just start change the background color of all of them. Okay, let's do it like this. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. I'll give each of these different background color. Style, background color red, style, background color yellow, then style, background color blue. So you have 3 items in this row, and each of them has different background color. Abina. Next.
Yes, sir.
You can now say that this class, you know that I explained that in a row you have 12 columns. I can now say call, let's say 5. That is, out of the 12 columns in this row, you should take 5 out of it. How many are we going to have left? 7. It means that these 2 containers need to find a way to share the 7. Do we get the idea now?
Yes.
So I can say class called, let's say 3. So this 5 plus 3, this is 8, meaning that this one can say call 2. Now you can say that, well, they are not adding up to 12. 5 plus 3 plus 2, that is 10. But that will allow us to be able to give margin between them. Remember, all of them is 12 in total. All of them is 12. So I'm intentionally leaving 2 so that we're able to put margin. You know, if we exhaust everything, then we won't be able to space them. Do we get the idea?
Yes, sir.
If I put this to 5 plus 3, that's 8. If I put it to 4, it means I'm exhausting. Oh, sorry. I was so sharp eyes. This no, sorry. Okay. Sorry, let me So let's proceed. Now, if everything now is 12 in total, so let's run it on the page on the browser and see the results. Why is it not displaying it? Come on. Okay, it's because there's nothing inside there. But note, if you notice that this is longer than the remaining two, and the one in the middle looks to be the shortest. Do we understand? Do we realize this? The red seems to be the longest, while the yellow seems to be the longest. Have you now?
Yucks. Yeah.
Okay. This is because this red one is taking 5 out of the whole 12
12.
columns.
Yeah.
This is taking 2. Yes. Is it 2 or 3? 3. And this is taking 4. So in total, we have 12 columns. Now, the beauty of this is that even when you are on a smaller device, it will still maintain that proportion. Do we get it? Even if this will still take 5, this will take what's it called? 3, and this will take 4. It will always divide the device into 12 columns, such that you are saying this will take 5, this will take 3, and this will take 4. But we are not done. Next, maybe on a smaller device, you want this to change. Maybe on a smaller device, you want to put these two side by side, and maybe you want this one to stand alone so that it will be cool. Are we getting it?
Yeah, we are following. We are
So on a
getting it.
smaller device, you want to place these two side by side, and you want this one to change. So let's go about that. That now leads us to what we checked the other time. I'll just Google Bootstrap. I think it's still open. So let's look at this. XS means small screen, which is phone. In fact, SS means you are targeting phones. SM means you are targeting tablets. MD means you are targeting small laptops. LG means you are targeting laptops and desktops. That is screens equal to or greater than that's 1200 pixels and above. Do you understand that part?
Yes.
Okay. Then bootstrap is phone first. Phone first. What does that mean? Now, look at something. If I say call XS5, if I give this a class, like that would be in the middle. If I can say call MD4, that is, this collects X5, meaning that take 5 columns on XS device. What is XS device? That is on phones 768 pixel or lesser. And if I say call MD4, that is, take 4 columns on, this is MD, on small laptops. Do we get the idea now? You can say call, I'm just trying to, we still use this in our code. I can say call LG2, that is, take 2 columns on large device. Do we get the idea now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Before now, we've only been using code 5, code 3, code 4. This will take 5 columns on any device, whether small device or big device. Now we want to insert the width of the device. So you're going to be saying maybe call XS5 or call MD based on the device width that you are targeting. If you are targeting small device, then it will be called XS5. If you are targeting medium device, it will be called MD4. If you are targeting large device, it will be called LG2. But this page will help us to know that, okay, XS stands for phone 768 and above. See, Bootstrap has done all those styling for her, all those CSS. They've written it for us. You don't need to bother about writing that. So let's now adjust our code. Now, like I said, it is phone first. What does that mean? If I say call XS, let's say 3. You know, this means that when you get to phone, take 3 columns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
but then it's not just going to take 3 columns on phones alone. It will take three columns on phone from XS to LG. Like, it looks somehow, but that's because CSS is phone first, mobile first. Yeah, we call it mobile first. CSS is Bootstrap. Sorry, Bootstrap is mobile first, mobile devices first. This once you say call XS3, it will take 3 columns on phone and on any device that is more than this XS. So let's say, let's look at another one. I will remove this. If I say call SM6, it will take 6 columns on SM. What is SM? SM is on tablets, and any device that is more than SM, that is on this and this, but it will not affect this. Let's say if I say call MD4, it will take 4 columns on MD and anything that is larger than MD, that is on both MD and LG. I don't know if you get it. Let's come again. Number one, once you put any width here, it will be from that width up. It scales, like it moves up, not down. If I say XS4 like this, I'm saying that take 4 columns on phone or on small device and anything larger than that small device that is up. If it gets to this, it will still be 4. It will get to this, it will still be 4. If it gets to this, it will still be 4. If I come here and I say call SM3, that means take 3 columns on SM. It will affect SM, it will affect MD, it will affect LG, but it will not affect XS, which is smaller than this one. Do we get the idea? If you are lost, say I'm lost.
Almost lost.
Okay, let's come again. This is it.
Oh, I'm lost.
Okay, let's go back this part. This is it. Look at it from up down. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the topmost one. If I target small devices, it's going to affect small devices and anything more than that XS.
Mm-hmm.
But if I target SM, it will affect SM and anything more than XM. You know, MD is more than XM.
Mm-hmm.
LG is more than SM.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I give to SM will affect these 3, but it's not going to affect the first one.
Okay.
If I target MD, if I say call MD7, it will affect MD and LG. If you affect MD and anything larger than MD, that is LG. So when it gets to big devices, that styling will still affect it. Do we get it now?
Yes.
Okay. So if I target SM, it will affect these 3. If I target MD, it will affect these 2. If I target LG, it will affect only this one. And if I target XS, it will affect everything. Do we understand?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
If you are lost, please say I'm lost. If you are getting it, say I'm getting it.
I'm getting it.
We are not saying it confidently.
I'm getting it.
Okay. So let's proceed.
All right.
So instead of saying call this, you know we can easily say call XS5. Well, you won't be doing this, but I just want us to understand what I just explained. Call XS3 and call XS4. I will still have the same results. What we are saying is, it will affect XS and anything more than that, that is, it's going to affect everything. Do we get it? Remember I said XS will affect everything from this place to the end, meaning that we still have the same result as before. What's going on? Oh, I think I'm trying to open the page. Okay. So we are not going to see any difference. It will affect everything up, even on small device. But now that's not what we want. What we want is this. When you get a small device, You want these two to be together, but when you get to uh, why this will stand alone, but when you get to big device, you want them to be the way they are presently. So what are we going to do? We'll come here and say, on small device, I want this to be 6 and I want this to be 6. 6 plus 6,
So
12.
Yeah.
So good. So on small device, this this will take 6 and this will take 6. Now 12, this is already more than up to 12. Of course this will have
okay.
nothing to take and move to the next line. You can say maybe this should take everything, maybe 12. So meaning that these two will be together and this one will stand on its own. Unfortunately, this styling will affect everything. Remember what I just explained, meaning that irrespective of the device
Is
width, it's still
inside
going to be like this. I've been now,
cutting. Mm-hmm.
like it will still
We
have
still make it
this.
2-2.
It will still be how good. It's going to be like this. Oh, so what am I? Okay, good. So 6 6. Then this will be 12. Red,
So
yellow, blue. Blue will be underneath. Oh, what's going on?
red, red on my
Red,
screen.
red is missing. Where is our red? I'm coming.
Mm. Is red a P an APC member or PDP member?
I'm coming. I just put some text message. So come on. Okay. I just want to be sure. I think maybe because of the text, but then it should still come up. So because of the margin that we still give it, you can say maybe 5 5, so that we'll be able to give margin to them. Copy this, paste, and paste. Okay, so this is how we should be. Red and yellow are together. Why this one should stand alone? This looks cool. Now,
But the blue is supposed to take the whole width now.
yes, but
The
you know,
12,
normally this blue should take the whole width. In fact, it's actually taking the whole thing. What happened is,
the text.
these generally they try to limit themselves to the content. If I remove this thing, there will be nothing on the page.
Oh yes.
There will be nothing. So it tries to limit it, but then I can't put any other thing on that thing. If I try to put another thing here, it's going to go down because it's already taking the whole space. The thing is, its content is one that is limiting this, is one that's making this stop here. But it's actually taking over this. I can't put another thing here. Do you get it, sir?
Yeah, that's right.
So let's continue. These two are sitting side by side. That's because of this. But now, I want to say, call. You can now come here and give it another class. Call. Let's say SM. Let's say 4. Call SM4. Call SM4. Now, let's see what you're saying. What this means is this. Once you are on small device, give this 5. This will occupy 5, this will occupy 5, and this will occupy 12. But once you are on tablets, this will occupy 4. Remember, it's upward. Remember the other time I said something that is like this. Once you say SM, it will affect SM, it will affect MD, and it will affect LG. So on tablets and above, this will occupy 4, this will occupy 4, and this will occupy 4, meaning that the three of them will sit side by side. But on phone, these two will sit together, while this one will stand alone. Do we get it?
Yes.
Yes.
On small device, on phone, these two will sit together. 5 plus 5 is 10, while this one will stand alone. But on SM and above, This will be 4, this will be 4, and this will be 4. So let's run that and see the result. So good. The two of them are standing together on tablet and above. But once I reduce it to font size, let's reduce it to get to font size. Good. Oh no, we are right. Font size should have them together. I think it's because of the content. The content is so much that is affecting this thing. It's affecting it.
Or is it specificity?
Let's see. What can be on?
Or is preferring the last option over the previous? I mean, it's only taking into account the SM
It's taking the
over.
SM. The two of them should still be together on phone, not to split them. Do you
Oh,
get it? The
okay,
two of them should still be
okay,
together.
true,
I think it's more
true.
about the contents also. I think it's more about the contents. Coming. I'll just maybe the other also. Still not doing what I want. This is
Mom, faceva questo.
start to
Che
affect the
cos'è?
You are talking. You should mute your mic, please.
okay, I'll check what is going on. Check what is going on. But I hope you understand the explanation.
Yes, yes.
So the way it works is this. Call XS5, that is on small device, do this. Let's adjust this a bit and see, hopefully it will work this time around. We can say call you can say call MD, maybe MD. I think my own device is MD. So we can say call MD for this 6. I'm coming away. Copy. That's not what I'm trying to do. Copy. Paste. Done. Paste. So what I'm trying to do is this. On small device, I want this to sit alone, to stand alone. This should also stand alone, and this should also stand alone. That's why I'm saying this should occupy 12 on phone, so that they will be underneath now, instead of standing side by side. Do we get this?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
on tablet, I want these two to stand together. Why this one will stand? But of course, it's expecting there will be some spaces beside it. So I want to arrange them 2 on tabs. Meanwhile, on laptop, I want to put the three of them together. Do you get what you're doing? On small device, I want them to stand there. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
On phone, occupy the whole 12. On tab, occupy half of the screen. Why on this on laptop, I think my device width is colon before. I don't think my system gets to LG. So on big device now or laptop, take 1/3 of the screen. So let's see if that works fine also. Okay, so on big devices like this, so this is a laptop to tablet, and it should be 2 to, okay, yeah, this is tablet size. Then on phone, yeah, this is this. So if you check the width, if you check the device width, Ctrl Shift I, check the device width. Oh. So let's check on tablets. Do we have tablets here? I think, yeah. So yeah, this is tablet size. Oh, it has changed. Is this Samsung?
Tablet is supposed to be 2 2.
It's supposed to be
Use iPad.
iPad. Yeah.
iPad.
This is
iPad mini.
1024.
Oh,
I think it's even
that's
more.
large.
That's large.
You can use the Samsung Galaxy then.
914. Check the size here. We are just going to work with this size. Size.
Yeah.
Our tablet is 760. This and less than 992. Is this less than 992? Yes. Okay. Okay. This is small. This is 5. Oh, this is. These are just. This is large iPad. Then I expect this to give us 1024. Okay, let's edit it to our test and see. The device. Okay. I don't think we are able to get the specific one for tablet here. This is giving us, but it's adjusting itself almost immediately. This. So, but then most of these things here, they are mainly for phones, and that's affecting it. But understand the concept. The concept is that when it gets to small device, the two of them they will be stacked above one another. When it gets to tablet, they will be like this. Then when it gets to big device, it's going to be like this. And it actually uses this width you have here to know when to adjust the width. Yeah, do we understand? So finally, we want to talk about the color. CSS colors, bootstrap color system. Instead of saying this one should be background red, background yellow, background blue. Hello, please, are we together?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
So instead of saying this one should be this, we need to understand something. So when you say danger in CSS, in bootstrap, it usually means red. When you say success, it usually means green. When you say info, it's usually, I think info is orange color. Then when you say primary is usually blue. So if I say BG danger, meaning that change the background color to white. So instead of saying this should be like this, I'll just come here and say BG danger. BG danger. So what I'm saying is able to change the background color of this one to white. You can read the documentation to get these things. If you are not okay with the color, you can use yours. You can style it and just the same way we did here. You can style it if you are not okay with it. BJ primary. So I'm saying change it to blue. Then this is yellow. I can use BJ warning. BJ warning. So where is it? Okay, let's refresh now. Now look at this. You can see it has actually changed. Although this side is not as deep as 100. If you're not okay with this particular one, you can change it to the one that suits your taste. So I can also change the color of the text from this to other things. I can say let the color of this text be text. Maybe I want it to be text blue. That will be primary. So text primary. The text inside this div will change to blue. Remember, blue is primary. So I can change this to white. I can say text. Okay, text white. So this I changed to white. I can change this to what other color? I think we have dark also. Text dark. Oh, it's actually dark by default, so that will not give us any difference. Text. I think we even have secondary also. Yeah. So I think this is like gray color, something like that. So when you do documentation, but if you understand these little things, that danger means red, success is green, info is orange, primary is blue, these little things. So if it's background, it will now be BG danger. If it is text, it will be text danger. Do we get it? If you want it to be red text, it will be text danger. Because danger stands for red, success stands for green, primary stands for blue, and all of that. Do we understand the explanation?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
we do.
This BG stands for background, so and this is the text inside it. Then another thing to also know in Bootstrap is have M. You can say MX2. This M stands for margin. We can have, okay, let's start with this. We can have margin top, that will be MT2. That is, let there be some space between this T stand, this is margin top. So you can be 1, if you want small space, it can be 1. If you want it to be larger, make it 2. If you still want it to be larger, it will be 3, 4, 5. My MT3, I think the largest is maybe 5, yes. So you can have it up to 5. MT, margin top. Then we have margin bottom. What would that be? What do you think it will be? Hello? Hello? If you want it to be margin bottom, what do you think it will be? That would be MB. Are we getting it?
Oh, yes.
Margin bottom. Let there be some space at the bottom. MB. Now, if you say MX, that is... Oh, sorry, let's first look at right. What do you think margin right will be?
MR.
Good. MR. Good. MR.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, you are right. MR.
Eh.
Yes. What do you think margin left will be?
ML.
ML, as simple as that. So ML, MR, MB, and it depends on how much you want it to be. It can be 2. If it doesn't suit your taste, you change it to 3, 4, I think 5. So you can have these things. Then we also have the MX. MX stands for the x-axis. That is, apply this to both the left and the right. MS is the same as saying M right 1, sorry, MR1 and ML1. So instead of saying MR1 and ML1, just say MX1. So that is at the x-axis, put some spacing there. So it will be at the both left and right. What do you think the top and bottom will be? Hello?
MY.
Good. MY is as simple as that.
Mine.
MY. So that will mean that this at the y-axis, both the top and the bottom, put some spacing. So instead of writing margin top and margin bottom, you can just say MY. Then you can now do something else. So you can just say M1. When you say M1, this means both left, this means all of it, left, right, top, bottom. Apply this styling to it. But whether it is top, whether it is bottom, whether it is left, whether it is right. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we also have the P. What do you think P will stand for?
Primary.
Padding. So since
Yeah,
M stands for margin, this P will stand for padding. If you say P1, that means left, right, top, bottom, use this padding. Let the padding be 1. This doesn't mean 1 pixel anyway. It's more than 1 pixel. It's actually it's more than 1 pixel, but it's small. It's a small space. If you want it to be more, make it P2. Then the same way we have the PT, that is padding top. We have the PB, padding bottom, padding right, padding left, and all of that. I think this, but you can use documentation to check more. CSS is actually simple. It makes your work so easy. Instead of writing everything from the scratch, bootstrap, sorry. Instead of writing everything from the scratch, you can just bring in bootstrap and write your code. Any question?
None from my hand for now.
Yes. So this is a revision of our last stage. Revision. I know Mr. Blessing has not enough justice to this thing. I'm just revising it generally. Okay. Can we see the JavaScript tonight, or we keep it to the next class?
Over to you, everybody.
Should we
Can we
start
see the
JavaScript
JavaScript?
tonight, or we keep it to the next class?
You can have an introduction.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Let me stop recording and start a new one for JavaScript.